What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a hoot and a holler, a very interesting video. In today's video, I'm going to expose to you one of the biggest, if not currently the biggest secret in the weed industry. This is something that no company will ever tell you they're utilizing because they all keep it hush-hush. This is something that I've been trying to get my hands on and trying to get an actual in-depth video of it in the works for a long time. However, the problem is, even with all my connections in the weed industry, I still cannot find anybody who will openly admit that they use this. However, there's a lot more brands using this particular secret than some of you might expect. So, hope you all enjoy this one. Drop a like if you do. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And also, go follow me on Twitter. We're doing some big giveaways on there. We're giving away an ounce of the diamonds. You know the drill. Follow me on Twitter at the Goblin with 3 N's. I'm almost at 100K. I'm going to follow a few people back. Hey, you don't want to miss out. We do giveaways, all sorts of fun stuff. Either way, let's not waste any more time because I'm excited to tell you about this one. So let's dive right into the video. Now, recently, there's been a lot of talk online about sprayed terps. There's, kind of a conception going around that brands are just spraying terps directly onto flower. The way a lot of people imagine it is, you might imagine someone with a spray bottle just having pounds lined up on a table and you just spray terpenes directly onto them. And honestly, it's a lot worse than that. There's actually a machine for this, but this machine that I'm about to tell you about does not only spray terps. In fact, spraying terps is one of the less concerning parts of this. Now, this machine I'm about to tell you about was definitely made for good, and it has good properties. For example, this machine can decontaminate your flower. So if there's a moldy batch of flower that fails testing, it can be put through this machine and actually sterilized and be made safe to consume. In that aspect, I think this is great, right? I think that's a very good aspect of this, and I believe that the people who made this machine didn't really intend for it to turn into what it has. That's about the only positive feature I have to say about this thing, because this machine here that you're looking at right now is called the Box. The full name of this machine is the Box Cannabis Sterilization System. This is a machine that is very expensive and very high-tech, and this does a lot. Not only can this infuse terpenes, that's right, it doesn't spray them on, it infuses them. This is a very high-tech machine. It can infuse both natural and unnatural terps. They advertise on the product page for this machine that you can add flavors like strawberry and banana to your flower. You can add completely unnatural flavoring to your flower. But that's not even the most concerning feature of this machine yet. The most concerning feature is the fact that this can dehumidify or moisturize any flower you put into it. So picture this. You have, let's say, you get your hands on a year-old pound of garbage. You pay bottom-of-the-barrel prices because it's old. Maybe it's already moldy. It looks terrible, right? It's dried out. The terps just aren't there. It's already moldy. You buy this pound for $300-400, let's say. You put it through this machine, and all of a sudden it comes out at the perfect moisture level. No mold. It looks like this weed was freshly harvested, and then you're able to spray whatever flavors you want. You can add unnatural flavors like strawberry or banana, or you could add natural terps and play this up as to be some normal strain. Then you put it in a Mylar bag and you sell it for $50 or $60 an eighth, like a lot of these brands that you guys are familiar with are already doing. You are unknowingly being sold re-rocked weed. That's effectively what this is. It's re-rocking. They are getting dirt cheap garbage product and running it through this machine, and it comes out just fine. And the only reason that people don't know about this is because currently there are 0 regulations or requirements that require anybody to disclose the use of this machine. Anyone can use this. Your plug can get this and use it. Your favorite dispensary brand can get this and use it. Absolutely anybody can put flower through this machine and it comes out ready to rumble. Now, fundamentally, you might look at this and say, well, it's providing smokable weed to more people, so isn't this a good thing? And in some cases, I would agree. If companies disclosed the use of this machine so I could make an educated purchase, if companies were required to put on the bag or somewhere on the packaging that this product was used, then it would be a whole different story. But the problem is, because the regulations around the cannabis market are so terrible, and the taxes are ridiculous, and regular recreational companies aren't able to make profit, a lot of them are going to end up using this, because it means that they're able to use lower quality product and charge a premium for it just by slapping it into this machine. Imagine you went to the store to buy a bottle of alcohol. Let's say you wanted to buy a nice bottle of some Johnny Walker Blue, and you purchase it, and the bottle's sealed, and it looks good, and you go and you pay $200-300 or however much money that bottle is. I know it's expensive. And you walk out of the store, and it turns out that actually that is not a fresh bottle. They took the last 10% remaining from bottles that they found at bars all across the town, poured them into that, sealed it up, and sold it to you for full price. Sure, you're still going to get drunk, but you got finessed. That is what this machine is doing. So some of you guys might be wondering, well, you know, there's got to be a way that you can find out when this machine has been used. I mean, surely it shows up on testing, or there's a way that you could test for the terps being added, right? No, absolutely not. At the time of making this video, current testing standards cannot differentiate between sprayed, infused, or added terps and natural ones. There is no telling, just looking at a test or looking at a product bag, whether or not something has been through this machine. And that's a problem. We need legislation. We need some sort of restrictions around the use of this machine, because the consumer has the right to know whether they're being sold weed that was really fresh from the get-go or weed that's been re-rocked and run through this machine. It's not fair to be able to charge full prices to customers and pass this weed off as normal and not have to disclose it. Now, in terms of how you can actually spot when this machine has been used, it's kind of difficult, but there is a few giveaways. You see, typically on flower, your terpene levels aren't going to exceed 3 to 4%. The terpenes are what give you the flavor, the entourage effect, you know? They're very important. You can have some weed with a very high THC level, but if the terps aren't there, it's gonna be trash. Terps are arguably more important than the THC content itself. And naturally, terpene levels usually don't exceed 3 to 4% in flower. There are some exceptions, so don't take that to a rule of thumb. I've seen some strains get, pushing 5 before, but generally you're not going to see anything higher than 3 to 4% in natural flower. And even that is a very high number. Usually you're going to see between 1 to 2% much more commonly. Sometimes you'll see results, or you'll see bags claiming to have 5, 6, 7, 8% terps in flower. If you see that, there is a 99% chance that this machine was used, and the other 1% is just an off-brand machine. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be asking, and no, currently, there's no knowledge that shows that anything that comes out of this machine can kill you. Whether it's synthetic terps or real natural terps being infused, there's no studies that really show that anything coming out of this machine is going to kill you. But there's also not any studies showing that it's safe. So I'm not going to sit here and make it seem like you're going to die if you smoke one of these sprayed packs, but you need to realize that when you're purchasing one of these sprayed terp packs, you are getting finessed all the way up. You are getting finessed harder than anybody else. Their material cost on that eighth was maybe $2. People are able to put the boofest boof through this machine, and it comes out looking like any old Mylar lemon cherry gelato eighth. Now take a look at this Mylar bag right here. This bag is from a brand called Sprinkles, who are extremely notorious for using artificial terps. This bag right here is a dead giveaway of something like this machine being used, because never are you going to naturally find a flavor like strawberry banana pudding. Sure, you could just throw some normal weed in there and call it that flavor, and it's not actually going to taste like it, but bags like this actually taste like that because it's synthetic terps, and people don't know any better. So, for example, in states like New York, you see bags like this all over. You can go to Grand Central and find this bag on a table today, I promise you. And you don't really see these kind of crazy bags as much in states that have been around longer in the legal market and have generally more education among the consumers. But in the newer legalizing states, this is something that's going to become a problem really, really fast. And on the black market, it's already a problem, and it has been for years. I'm sure you guys probably have a plug or know of a plug who's been posting and serving shit just like this, with crazy flavors. Have you guys ever seen the marshmallows bags? All the different cuts of marshmallows? That's not a real strain, and that's not a real flavor profile. That's thanks to this machine. This is an issue that doesn't impact any one specific segment of the weed market. This doesn't just impact licensed recreational or medical brands. This doesn't just impact the black market. This is a machine that absolutely anybody can use. Your plug could have this. Whoever's spraying all these sprinkles packs could have this. Your favorite recreational brand could start using this at any moment. And I'm not going to name drop any of the licensed brands that are using this, but there's a few of them, at least out here in California, that are, it's pretty common knowledge that they're abusing this machine at this point. Stay alert. Stay alert, folks. Usually, flower strains that have fruity names or flavors like this are at best just hype marketing to get you to smoke some mid, and at worst, gone through this machine. And I think that when anyone goes to any plug or dispensary or buys weed anywhere, they have the right to know what they're smoking and how it's been treated. And when weed is grown properly and grown well, and a really fire strain comes out with some amazing terps, typically they're going to advertise that. No matter if it's the plug, if it's a bag on a shelf at a dispensary, they're going to indicate that somehow. They're going to hype up the living soil. They're going to hype up whatever methods they use to make this hype. So if you don't see that, on a bag, let's say at a dispensary, or vice versa, whatever it may be, you might want to be fairly cautious. Prior to the existence of this machine, you had to actually know how to grow to put out a smokable batch of weed. But now, you don't really have to know very much. You could grow a terrible batch and just throw it through this. You could come out with some old-ass pack, pull up to the spot with a 2-year-old pound of moldy, crusty boof, just throw it in here and it's completely okay. I don't like that at all, and I think this is a very, very bad pretense to set for the weed community. People need to speak up about how this is not okay, because if we let this slide, who knows when the tech comes around in 10, 15, 20 years how they're going to be fucking up our weed then. So when you see bags that have those crazy flavors that don't seem natural, ask questions. Ask the brand, or ask whoever's selling it to you, whoever it may be. Ask about it. Ask where'd this come from? What are these flavors? Ask questions and stay educated, because it's important to know what you're putting in your lungs. You don't want to smoke some random hoopla boof that's been through this machine. You want to smoke some all-natural gas that came out of the fucking plant just like it is in your hand. That's all I've got today. I'm not really going to ramble much further. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Some people don't really mind this machine. Some people, the way they look at it is they say, well, there's more smokable weed on the market, so how is this a bad thing? But people are getting finessed left, right, and center, and I think that's a very bad thing. So that's my 2 cents. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I really hope you learned something, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Doses.